Maybe I'll try this one.
Hey y'all, hey, welcome to season 2 of the Unangry Black Woman podcast. I am your host, your healing coach, Tiffany Fox Inc. And this is the Unangry Black Woman podcast, where we have real conversations on real topics with real people. Our podcast is not your average podcast, right? So our platform, we highlight and showcase the Black experience, right? And we tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And we give you an insight on our culture, on our community, and on our perspective. Right? Our guest today is none other than Miss Casie Williams. Woo, woo, woo.
Well.
I'm excited to have her here. By day, she is a corporate trainer in the mortgage lending world. But after 5 o'clock, it is the Casie Show. She is a native of Richmond, Virginia. She's a mommy to Grayson, a preschooler. We love Gray. We need Gray on the podcast, okay? On the weekends, you can catch Casie on hosting her own podcast, the Back to You Bob Show. It's a 90-second sports show where she talks about sports and rocks trendy fedoras. I love that. She's also the creative boss of Truth Magazine, which is a publication that strives to spread love, embrace culture, and have faith. Casie, what is your motto? I love it.
Was I supposed to memorize that?
What you about to
So the memo is this. Here's my 3 a.m. revelation thought.
Yes.
Talk is super cheap, right? Because ain't nobody listening to you while you talking. They watching everybody's watching what you're doing.
Watching.
So
You're
just
right.
do it. Go get it. Like, be a go-getter. Like, ain't nobody listening.
Ain't nobody.
My grandma's going to be horrible today. No one. Ain't nobody listening.
I
So
love that.
just go get it.
Yeah, I had to have you say that because that's dope.
Yeah, talk is super cheap. You can talk all day and people will be like, and if you ain't doing nothing, they just like, no, because everybody's watching. I just feel that way.
I think it's definitely true.
Thank you.
All right, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Season 2, y'all. I made it, Mama, Daddy, Grayson, Gavin. I made it.
She made it, season 2.
Season 2.
Yes, so we're excited to have you. In real life, I tell my audience, in real life, I bring people before them that I can put my stamp on.
Oh, yeah.
And so, Casie has been in my wedding. We have been friends for a long time. And we do this in real life.
Yes,
so our
we do.
conversations and debates,
Yes.
they are so rich.
Yes.
And we want to let you in today. So it's no fluff. Y'all know we're not scripted. And so
None whatsoever. So prepare yourself. Grip
Absolutely.
your chairs because
Absolutely.
it could get frosty.
Okay. All right. So nothing's off limits?
Nothing is up. Nothing.
Okay. Well, let's go. I love it.
Call me
I love
Fannie Willis.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
And my daddy didn't teach me to put cash in the house, but okay.
6 months. 6 months of cash. Okay. 6 months. All right. But before, I know my introduction didn't do you any justice. So tell us a little bit about who Casie is, what you got going on, business-wise, mommy-wise, everything.
So Casie is a ball of fun. Like it's a misconception that I'm uptight. Like 20% of the time I'm uptight, but the other 80% I'm a ball of. I love to laugh. All right, but I have the gift of gab. I came out of the womb talking.
Okay.
And one of my loves is sports. And so that has always been my biggest love. And when I was growing up, I was watching ESPN faithfully. So Rich Eisen, Stuart Scott, God rest his soul, were like 2 of the biggest broadcasters on ESPN. And they were just hilarious. And so even when I was young, I said, I want to be like them. And so that was what I, aspired to do. But, life happened. College, I couldn't finish. I had to drop out. Got that one job in the mortgage industry business. Saw my first paycheck and said, I'm done. And so, I stayed in mortgages for I've been in it for 20 years. And now I'm a corporate trainer. So I bring my sports broadcast style to corporate training people how to lend on homes and knowing the laws and stuff like that. But on the side, see, the evolution has a way of evolutioning, right? I'm going to make up a lot of words today, so write them down. So, with us being able to get our own equipment, I finally came up with this idea to do a sports show. It was a joke at first.
Okay.
So I was watching a game, and I said, Grayson, come here. And we just started being funny and broadcasting the show. And I don't know if many people know, but at the end of a broadcast, they go, back to you, Bob. And I don't know if everybody knows Bob Costas, but he's like a game changer. Back to you, Bob. And I would just I kept saying it, and it just caught on. And so I turned it into a show.
I love it.
Now, with the magazine, I always collected magazines when I was a kid. I remember my sophomore year at UNCG, I was getting ready to leave. And my dad picked me up, and he was like, where the magazines going? I said, back to Richmond. And he was like, no, they're not. So we outside of the dorm arguing about a box of magazines. And so I just have loved magazines. And one day I decided to start one. And it's been a real trip. But, so I love everything media, TV, magazines, books, and then the podcast came as I got older. And so, I do a little podcasting myself, but it's just fun, football and parenting talk. So yeah, that's like as far as creative wise. But as a mom, I became a mom at 38, y'all. 30 whole 8.
38.
And I always, when I was younger, wanted to be a mom. But that was when I was a kid. Like when you're a kid, you just listen to what people say and you repeat it. So yeah, I want to be married with children. Then as I got older, I wanted to be like Oprah. Now, I don't want to be like Oprah now. Okay. But I did want to be like Oprah. Okay. Let me set the record straight.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay. And so then I went on with life, wanted to be huge, big, giving away cars, wanted to be everybody's favorite publicist. And then, met this guy, thought I was in love, wasn't. I thought.
You thought you weren't, or you thought you was?
I thought I was in love.
Okay.
And didn't think I could have children. I just went on with the relationship. And, ended up getting pregnant at 38. And, No, wait a minute. How old was I? I was 38, yeah. Okay. When I got pregnant, delivered at 38. He was supposed to be here when I turned 39, but he came early. Okay. And so now I'm a mom. It's a complete... In the mortgage world, we call it payment shock when you rent a home and you don't know what it is, and your mortgage rent is your mortgage payment is gonna be stupid. So we call it payment shock. I was mommy shocked when it came to raising different world. Oh man, right? Didn't know. I feel bad. I mean, I want to say I'm sorry because I really downed moms.
Come on now, here we go.
Prior to having my son. And it wasn't like that I downed them, but I was just like, y'all making this.
Moms, or was it single moms?
I downed moms.
Moms, period. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I say moms, it's just like, what are y'all tired for? Like, what are y'all, there's no such thing as a craving. You know what? Why y'all always complaining? You got a blessing. I downed it. I downplayed it. And boy, was I wrong.
Absolutely. And so March is Women's Month, Women's History Month. And we take the time to appreciate our unsung heroes, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the word mommy, the title mommy, the role of mommy is unsung, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I wanted to do this segment today about the single mothers. Oh, yeah. Because I think... due to stigma or due to preconceptions or stereotypes, they're downplayed. And, outside, the walls, we can't say, I'm tired, because it'd be what you're tired of, right? And don't have multiples because this what you chose, right? So that's what I want today to be about, to uplift our unsung. Now, we're not going to baby daddy bash.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you for the disclaimer.
But we really want to give those that want to be a mom the real, right? Oh, yeah. And then we want the single moms to feel like, oh, gosh, she's telling my story. Like, finally. And then even the married moms or the unsingle moms, they still have a struggle. And so I think we downplay motherhood, period.
Put a T on that.
Period.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
And so your story is a little bit different because you had your baby at 38. I was 18. Yeah.
I can't. See, that's the thing, too. I cannot imagine I'll tell you this. I feel like as far as maturity-wise, I was like, okay, I can't imagine being 18. He probably would have never been with me. I mean, I don't think my mind would have been there. I don't think, like, we have a bond. I just think at 18, I don't think the bond would have been there. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't bond with him until he got here. When he was in my stomach, I felt the kicks. I was like, oh, this is so nice. But there was never any bond. Like, I never had the maternal, I was so scared because I never had the maternal instinct kick in.
Okay.
For the whole.
Did you feel guilty? Or you whatever?
It wasn't even that I felt guilty. It was like I was wondering, when is this maternal instinct going to come?
Okay.
And I thought, oh, my God, I may not be ready to be a mom. Well, I had no choice, but I never felt that what moms feel like, rubbing my belly. And I'm going to just say why. I think it was because it wasn't like I wasn't married and I didn't have that. I don't know. I know every married woman doesn't have this, but I didn't have that, like, man support.
Okay.
So it was just me.
Okay.
So I never felt that bond when I was by myself.
Okay.
And maybe because it wasn't something like, I wasn't jumping to have children. I was jumping to be married, but not necessarily jumping to be a mom.
Okay. All right.
But now that he here, now it's overboard now. I can't let him go.
Do you want more?
Absolutely. But, I keep having these, I don't know if it's the heat is too high. I keep having these hot flashes. I don't know if they hot flashes or the heat is too high.
We just going to say the heat is too high.
I'm like, what? I feel hot in the house.
We going to say
yeah, I'd love to have more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about just your journey as a single mom. I know you said that maternal instinct didn't kick in until he came. So tell us when it kicked in. Where is it now? What's the journey? What's the challenges?
It kicked in, I think, once we got home from the NICU. So my son was born 6 weeks early. Okay. So we spent 30 days in the NICU. I didn't know how to change a diaper. I didn't know how to bathe the baby, feed a baby. I didn't know how to brush her hair. I didn't know when the baby was sick, nothing. So one Saturday, the nurses were like, come in the NICU on Saturdays because parents are here, but they not. So I came in and this one lady showed me everything, like how to take his temperature and all of that. So I spent one night in the NICU with him before he went home. When he got home, I mean, y'all, you could talk about, and I don't perspire, y'all. You could see the wet spots under my arms. I was so nervous, but when he got home, I still didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And it's just become a journey of me figuring it out. Like, life alone was easier to figure out. Parenting, no. Mm-hmm. That thing, there is no manual. Mm-mm. And I said to myself, I'm going to write a manual. There is no manual that you can write.
And the minute you master this stage,
something else.
To the next.
Oh, my God.
Right? So we got potty training, and then, okay, we got this, we got that, we got tantrums, we got this. And then I'm on the other side because I have a 23-year-old. She'll be 24. And so that grown parenting is different. And then we have an 8-year-old. Oh. So I was thinking the other day, I'm like, oh wow, I'm sitting here doing Valentine's Day cards for the class, but with our oldest, we're talking about life and life lessons and taxes and yeah.
See,
so
how is that? How do you balance the difference? Because I'm teaching please and thank you, but I don't know how I could turn that off and then be like, listen, you need to pay your rent on time because, how do you balance like going between?
Just like that. And so you would think that she doesn't need me as much as the youngest one, but she
forever.
Does. Yeah.
Everybody listening, this is
forever.
Forever.
Forever. It doesn't stop at 18, doesn't stop at 21. But I get fulfillment from both. And so as a single mom, I was a single mom for 14 years. So with our daughter, we was hustling and bustling and let's go. So I don't remember a lot of milestones like you better walk. If you're going to come, you better walk. I don't remember her first teeth falling out. It was just, okay, pillowcase, tooth fairy, But with him, I get to celebrate because it's different.
Oh.
It's different.
I mean, but how does that feel that there's such a...
So I appreciate that I get to be present.
Okay.
With Tashara, our oldest, like I said, it was just on the go autopilot. I may have gone overboard. I did go overboard, and there was no one to stop me, right? But with Caden, being in a 2-parent household is help. So I can be tired and I don't have to give baths at night.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Yes. So to everyone listening, that's the difference. For those of you who are married and do have help, that's phenomenal. But let's flip over to the single mom. I have to wake up every day regardless. Yep. He's got to eat. He's 4. He can't fix his. Now, he do be cooking. We cook together. That's the thing that tires me out. Every day, I got to get up. Mm-hmm. When Rick Ross said every day I'm hustling, let me tell y'all, he ain't never lied. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference. Day. It's a everyday thing. And I thought I went into this thinking, well, it'll be, even though I'm not married, it'll be a co-parenting where we're going to work together. Right. No, and no disrespect and no shade, but this is like much respect to my grandma, my dad's mom, because like, you do this by yourself. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there are days where, man, we got into it before going to school. Imagine a 4-year-old and a 43-year-old going at it. And I was about to cry. He won, y'all. I was like, TKO. So it's every day. And, you just gotta, I'm not sure I really have found a rhythm. I think we're getting in a rhythm now because he's getting older. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I think 3 and 4 were probably the hardest because it's like now he's talking, he's coming into himself, and we're having to deal with some issues, but I got to not fight, but I got to deal with teachers. I got to deal with, people side eye. Parenting is different. Like, in our day, our parents would look at us with the side eye if you even looked like you was going to throw a tantrum. Now he throws a tantrum, and I'm like hearing people say their brains aren't fully developed, so just take it easy on them. Right. So I give them the benefit of a doubt. You can be angry, but don't knock that chair over or right. else.
Absolutely. So. And I think coming from a teen mom who didn't know child development, right. It was my expectation, we getting off this bottle at 9 months, you walking, like we got to go. And then with him, he walked later, he talked later.
There you go.
And it was okay because I'm understanding child development. And I didn't have as much going on when I had my first child. I was in school, working, single mom. And so this time I'm married. I wasn't working at the time. Well, I think I worked up until he was 6 months. And then, so I was at home, so it was much different.
Yeah.
And so I think the older that you are having children, the more patience.
Yes, absolutely.
The more you understand. And I think that's the caveat to being older.
And the technology is different, because think about it now. You had Tashara back in the, 90s?
2000.
2000. Mm-hmm. So we hadn't quite hit the Facebook. Well, we may have, but it wasn't as, now you got therapists on Instagram. You got mommy doctors, potty training consultants on. All of that wasn't there. So I can quickly jump to one of those sites. Whereas if I would have had Grayson when I was 18, which was 1998, no, it would have been my mom and dad. Right. It would have been an old school way.
Right. And, absolutely. And you just did what you knew. And that's what it was. You did what you knew. And so, and then, on this side of things, we have to, I say the most difficult part, he's 8. The difficult part is the life lessons that I have to teach him at 8 that I didn't have to teach Tashara.
Right.
And so with technology, with social media, with the things he's exposed to, with what he's seeing, we got to have those conversations. And I'm like, really, we teaching at 8?
It's a heavy extreme. We could play outside. Right. We could, the internet was like you rich.
Right.
Now it's so much, kids have everything so that's the difference, I think. You may have been a little hard on Tashara, but the exposure at her age was not there yet. Now, Caden and Grayson, boy, oh boy. My son is 4 and knows what having a baby is. I've never taught him what having a baby. He put 2 socks in his stomach yesterday and was like, Mommy, I'm getting ready to have my sister. And I was like, little boys don't have babies. I was like,
you have to teach that.
Yeah. And I was, I'm calling my mom like, I've never talked to him about this. How do you think he found? And I was like, I bet you was them 2 little things in his classroom. I ain't gonna name their names, but they know who they are. Their names are, they named after the colors. I ain't gonna name their names.
Blue and look, I'm a guess. But yeah, and so a couple months ago, we had to talk to him about, protect Black women.
What does that sound like to her? In this age, what does that sound like?
So there was a young girl, she was 9, and she was twerking outside. Twerking outside.
I need a church fan so I can put a cover over my face.
And so the older boys, they were probably about 10 or 11, not too much older. The older boys, which were the big brothers of the younger ones, were getting twerked on. And you had the little ones watching. And so I had to have that conversation because I said, if that little girl goes back home and says, they made me twerk, where's the police coming? To my house. And so then I talked about, compliance and consent, and I had to talk about they gonna wrap all y'all brown boys up and take y'all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then I said, is that what you want to see your mother and sister do? No, ma'am. So I said, even if that's how she act, in your presence at your house, that's not what we do. Wow. Now they can go down the street, they could do whatever they want to do, but that was a conversation at 8. There was another, not too long ago, last month, little boy came to Caden and told him he had a crush on him.
Okay. So
we have to, life lessons, and we have to talk. And how do you feel about that? And, we got to flush these things out.
Wow.
So, yeah, we didn't have those talks with Shara.
Because we didn't have again, it's the time changes.
It is. It's the time changes, the exposure.
Right.
I guess the freedom.
Right. The millennials, the Gen Y, Gen Zers, they're more free. And they dare you to say something to them.
And they're fearless.
Yeah. And
on one hand, I love it because it's like no fear, no holds barred.
Right.
And on the other, there's no discipline.
That's it.
So
that's it. Lord, I'm scared, Grayson. I don't know how we go. I'm going to send him to Aunt TT.
Come on, Grace. Come on to life lessons. TT's
Mama was watching The Real Housewives. We can't talk about it.
Yes. So let's talk about co-parenting.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So my co-parenting experience was different. It wasn't your normal. I don't want to say normal because there's no such thing as normal. It wasn't my idea.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be 2 parents in a home and we were going to live happily ever after.
Absolutely.
Right? So we didn't talk about how to raise her, how to discipline her, how to do any of that. And so our experience was horrible. And so we didn't.
Ditto.
We just now, and I think Tashara would have to tell you, I think we just now are turning the corner and getting it right. And she's 23, getting ready to be 24.
See, so here's my thing, right? We don't talk about co-parenting.
Right.
We talk about everything in America. We talk about rap culture. We talk about pop culture. We talk about LGBTQIA+. We talk about the church. We talk politics.
We do.
I cannot find one recording on co-parenting.
It's going to be here today.
Okay.
We're going to pioneer it.
Yeah, because even on my podcast, we talked about it because it's just one of those things where you got to look at it from all aspects. You got to look at it from marital aspects, and you got to look at it from when you all were in a relationship or dating, or even if it was a one-night stand, and here comes the baby.
Right.
What is the expectations? Here's the problem that I have, and then you can take over. We tend to use the kids as pawns.
I agree.
When it comes to co-parenting.
I agree.
We don't, I keep seeing these signs on Instagram that says, don't take it personal. And my thing is, to a degree, when it comes to co-parenting, you cannot take it personal. You got to put your differences to the side. Using the kid as a pawn, man, that's like worse than, that's worse than 2 black people voting for Trump.
Uh-oh.
When you put the kid as the pawn, and I'm going to say this in a positive manner. There were co-parenting times where my son would not be seen because someone was mad at me.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, wait a minute. You can be mad at me. That's okay. Because lots of people are mad at me because, sometimes I do janky things. But don't use the child as the pawn to say, because I'm mad at you, I'm not going to come get him. And then you don't see him for months.
Absolutely.
And then Christmas, you like, oh, I'm ready to see him. And I'm like, I have to put, I'm big on my faith, y'all. I'm getting better, And my thing is, okay, you was janky. I'm going to still let you see him. Sometimes it doesn't matter if it's the male or the female. Someone is going to respond to the jankiness and say, oh, you was janky last week, so now I'm gonna be janky this week.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
every time I'm being jankified,
Jankified.
I always respond positively, and I'm like, you can still see them.
Yeah.
So with co-parents, y'all, listen to me. I know it's hard. You got to practice. You cannot use these kids as pawns, because then they end up seeing Dr. Tiff, Dr. Caroline, doctor later on in their life. And the goal for me is to keep my son. He may have therapy because I didn't know how to cook, or therapy because, like I drive fast and he'd be like, Mom, slow down. But I want him to have therapy for those reasons. Or, my son is always like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, why are you asking me this? Like, is mom giving off signals like she's, but I don't want him to go to therapy because his mom and dad could not come to a resolution, which is the thing from day one that I always, so to all my parents out there, just don't use them kids. We are not playing chess and checkers with children.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest problem with co-parenting. We can't put our egos to the side. And for me, I honestly, Tiff, for real, I put my ego to the side. And like I applied to a new school for Grayson. And at first I didn't want to, but I did. I added his father to the email. Like, it's me waking him up every morning to get him ready for school. It's me picking him up. But I had to say ego because pride comes before the fall. So I'm like, put him on there. And I'm going to tell a positive story. I actually got a text last night that was like, he got into such and such school. And I was like, yep, man. The emojis were clap, 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 as to say, great job, Mom.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. I think we just don't have the conversation, and we come from two different parenting households. If we had somebody that looked like us in a house. So sometimes the males don't have a male in front of them. So
Absolutely.
this fatherhood thing I'm learning is deep.
Way deep.
And they're trying to be something that they never had, right? And then for me, who was raised by a single dad, I didn't have the mother in the home.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to do something I never saw.
Ooh.
And so with one, I over-mothered.
Okay.
Right? With my daughter, I over-mothered.
Okay.
Right? And that's the thing. I over-mothered. And so with Kaden, I get to be just mommy. With her, I had to be mommy, disciplinary, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me and my ex, we were cool. It wasn't volatile or toxic, right? But we didn't agree on how she should be parented. And then I felt you didn't have enough presence, not gifts. You didn't have enough presence.
There you go.
Or I felt attacked when I would do something and you would criticize, but
and
you
it's like,
weren't
you ain't been
here.
there, right?
So what we gonna do, right?
Right.
And so as a single mom, we take things personal because it's just us. So the baby is a reflection of us, and when you come at us and you critique,
sis.
you talking about me. Let's go.
That goes for co-parenting and people. Mm-hmm. When people would say, "Oh, he's such," and I'm like, "Are you trying to criticize my mothering?" Like, you know. So yeah.
Right.
Man,
absolutely.
that's deep.
But let me tell you this: it doesn't stop in marriage. So the co-parenting conversation is not just limited to the singles. So mind you, been a single mom 14 years, doing it every day. And so now this man comes in, and it's been just us for 14 years. She a teenager going to high school.
I'm not ready.
Right? We didn't have the conversation.
For how the new spouse would
interact. So not even a baby daddy. How is the new spouse going to fit into this ready-made family?
Because you've been already doing it for,
And he doesn't have children. So his fathering experience is zero.
Ooh.
So it's not zero, and I got a newborn out the NICU. This is zero. I got a 14-year-old going to high school, girl, right? Mm-hmm. And we didn't have the conversation.
So it was personal to you when he said, yeah, I could see that being my thing now. And I feel like it's good to talk to people like you because I'm not married, hoping to be married, but still whoever marries me now, he's young. So how you going to break into my... Like, he still sleeps in the bed with me. And everybody's like, girl, you got a problem. And I'm like, well, he going to have to just adjust to that. And they like, girl, he ain't.
So And just take out the scenario from sleeping in the bed to anything else. He don't have to take out the garbage. Girl, you got a problem.
Yeah, and then
He don't have to wash his clothes. So whatever that scenario is, how is somebody else going to fit in?
Oh, man.
And so that single parenthood mentality came into my marriage. Because I was like, oh, you talking about how you trying to play me. Right? And then I justified and said, well, maybe I feel this way. Even though he's a great dad, he's a great stepdad, bonus dad to her. Maybe I feel this way because he's not her biological, and I will always feel this way because it's a little sting. Nope. Mm-hmm. When Caden came, I still felt the same way. Like, why are you talking to him like that? Why are you talking to him like that?
Even when his child came, you
okay. Yes.
Yeah. See, those are things you got to think.
Production
I'm looking at the executive producer.
He's agreeing.
Do not look at the executive producer.
So it's a thing, right? Man. And so it carries over to marriage because the conversation still needs to be had. Do you believe in whoopings? Do you believe in punishment? Yeah. You know, if we break up, when the son turns 13, do you believe he needs to live with the father? Ooh. Like, you got to have these conversations.
Man, I ain't ready for that one.
We got to.
The son will never leave the home.
And so for me, right, I was that way at first. And now I'm like, nope. When I hear these stories of how males not being in the home affects the men, you can have them at 13. Because I can't teach them how to be a man. That's
true. And Tiff, that's one of the realizations that I've had. Like, you know, like when I talk to people, I'm like, I can't be his dad. Like, I'm a softie. I thought I was going to be one of those parents that was like, come here, you about to get a whooping. But I'm a softie. So my thing is, I can't be his dad.
Right.
So, you know, again, y'all, I hope men and females are listening to this. Put your ego to the side. Because I had to send text messages that says, he's acting out in school. His barber can't be his dad. His uncle can't be his dad. Grandpa, even though grandpa's like a dad, can't be his dad. You need to come in and say something.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, that's on you. Because when someone else does come in like a husband, then you can't get salty. Now, I'm not going to I'm still going to explain to the new husband, listen, he has a dad. But, you know, for all of my men out there, even if you don't like the person you conceived with, you had to like her at some point.
Not really. No.
Oh, okay. You like something. If you had a foot fetish or a hand fetish, something about that girl you liked. Because you went all the way from third to fourth.
Blame it on the ass.
But be involved because you don't want these children to, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want, you know, like my son walking in with 2 socks in his stomach. Talking about he about to birth his sister. And I mean, it's not a red flag to me, but it's just, who in that classroom been talking to you?
Right.
Please ignore them.
Yeah. And then the other perspective for those that do not use them as a pawn, and when I say I overmother, I was guilty of parenting out of guilt. Her dad went to jail for 4 years.
Okay.
And so the guilt of I picked him, I put us in a situation, like, you know, so then here comes the overcompensation. I don't want her to lack, so let's run up the credit card for Christmas. Let's do it big for the birthdays. So I overcompensated because I felt guilty about the situation. And
how did that pan out?
Whew, that's another podcast.
Is she okay?
So,
now, because I overcompensate too. Like, I buy him more toys than he needs to have. Like, yesterday I ordered Legos from Amazon. So, you know, when we was kids, we made stuff up. We had invisible friends. I don't think he has any.
No.
Mm-mm. So, yeah, I do overcompensate in areas too. But, like, how does that, how does that work out in the end? Like,
it plays out into entitlement and spoil, right? Being spoiled. And so I have to walk back and I had to apologize to Tashara. Right? Because what I modeled in front of you was not how it should be. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, but you didn't know, you thought we was rich. But I got into debt, or my refund checks from school was Christmas and birthdays. I didn't need to take all that extra stuff for the loans out for Christmas and birthdays. And so I now have to go back and undo. I mean, she has her own money now, but I had to go undo because we would spend Christmases in Disney, but I would come home and make payment arrangements for Duke Energy, right? And all she would know is we spending Christmases in Disney.
Yeah.
And then when I got married, let's talk about the merger now.
Mm-hmm.
He said, ain't no Disney. We stay home for Christmas. So what? What?
Come on, Scrooge. Come on.
What? He's
the
like, we
executive
don't
producer's
have
not
it.
looking at me again. Come on, Scrooge.
We don't
no
have
Disney.
it. Well, we went to Disney, but you best believe he made sure it was a savings and it wasn't on credit cards.
Okay.
Right?
He said y'all could go when you were financially fit to do it.
Yeah, but I didn't know. That was a whole nother thing. I didn't know anything about that. We're creating memories. This is important. This is a priority.
Okay.
Right? And so we finally got it right, and we had to talk about parenting. We had to talk about what it looks like, for Tashara, what it looks like, because I would give Tashara a pass because she was a dancer. Her day would be long. She's not coming home till 10 o'clock and having to do homework. And he said, well, she needs to do dishes. Well, she's danced all day. Was she going to be a grown woman with a nasty house? Because you didn't, right? Okay. So even with our son now, we have in the Black community, we have this at 18, they got to get out. And so I'm like, well, my door is always open for my baby.
Absolutely.
Right? And he's like, no, it's always open with a plan.
Okay.
So, but we got to have those conversations. Right? Wow. Do we believe in whoopings? Do we not believe in whoopings? Who steps in? Who does this? Who handles school? Who handles this? Right? So that co-parenting is throughout the span of the child.
Yes. And I think both people have to come to the table with an open mind. Because I may say like no spankings, but he may be like, some days you gotta get up in their face and let them know, So I think both parties just have to come with an open mind. I think co-parenting is like marriage for me is a centerpiece for everything. Friendship, you got to think of it like that. Like you have to have an open mind. You got to compromise somewhere. So I think even with the co-parenting, everybody's got to be open. Right. Put it on the table, and then because like I'm like he won't play. He ain't playing no football, but
that's what I said. And guess what? We just finished our first football season. That's what I said, God. Well, right? And so, you love sports and he can't play football?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'll talk to you in 2 years. So that's the other thing. And when you say open, right, you can't be so rigid.
Right. And I think that's me because I'm scared. Like I told you today, I interview babysitters, and I'm so nervous. Like, I told one of them I'm going to be calling you every hour, so just get ready.
Do you have cameras in the house?
That's something that I said I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. But I have to let go. I feel like my rope is I think it's a little too tight. And so I got to let go. I have to put him in his own bed eventually.
Yeah.
I have to, there are things that I do make him, I'll give you a quick example. So like he did something and I said to myself, but Grayson, you're going to get in the bath and you're going to bed. No electronics, no Play-Doh, no nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So we drew the bath up. I said, go ahead and get your clothes off and get in the bathtub. He was struggling to take off his shirt. So immediately mom is like, jump in and help him. I said, no, we're going to have a life lesson today. Mm-hmm. You need to tell me when you need help. Because when you grow up, you can't in life expect that if you don't know something, you just going to figure it out. Sometimes you got to ask for help. He sat there, y'all, for 5 minutes trying to get his shirt off. He almost, I was there to catch him. And he just kept trying. He was suffocating himself. He was taking that shirt off. It was all over his face. Finally, he stopped. He said, Mom, can you help me? I said, that's all I've been waiting for, bruh.
Yeah.
And I finally helped him. So, I told myself, you got to toughen up on him. I still don't have the qualities to raise him like a man, but I can, sometimes drop that nurturing, overprotective spirit and just do a little toughening up. Yeah. I still believe, God will send my husband.
Absolutely.
But while we wait for a little more interaction with his dad, we'll do what we can.
Absolutely. And then that's where the village comes into place, right?
Absolutely.
So, no, we don't expect the barber. We don't expect uncle, but they help.
Yes, they do help.
And they can give us a different perspective. They can, because children, not just boys, but children react different to men.
Absolutely.
And so allow that, so the village to step in. I was going to say something, but I forgot what I was going to say. I love that lesson, though. And we think that we got to start lessons at 13. It's too late.
I wanted to help him so bad. I was like,
yeah.
And when the shirt was over his face, I was laughing. Now, mind y'all, I was making sure he wasn't suffocating. But again, he tried and tried and tried. And I said, don't help him. And then finally, he after about 5-10 minutes, Mom, can you help me? And I said, lesson learned. Remember, when you need help, you ask. I want you to remember this throughout your entire life. Don't go through life thinking you got to do stuff by yourself or figure it out like I did. I was absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
Growing up. But
yeah,
now.
But that's how we.
Now, I do struggle now because I've been doing it for so long by myself.
Right.
So I do struggle to say, hey, can somebody watch Grayson or can somebody, do this? And finally, I just said, okay, you got to get a babysitter on deck. And you just got to stop putting yourself through this. Because some Saturdays, when we had the call the other night, I was laying in the bed. I was tired. I said, Grayson, mommy going to lay in the bed. Mm-hmm. Do what you do. Don't burn down the house. But I'm going to lay in the bed. And he comes in, mommy, you okay? And he puts the covers on me and he pets the pillow. And I said, son, you're going to be here till mommy's 95. You're going to be here. You're not going anywhere. So all you little girls, stop looking at him.
Look,
no, I'm kidding.
Katie told me, you're going to help me raise my kids. I said, am I? Okay. See, now Katie's in the phase where he feels like he's my husband.
Oh, how do you handle that?
Dad comes in and get your own woman, this mine.
Okay.
So, but I have to let him know this is my husband. I love you. Who you love more? Right? Who's your favorite? Right. I said, I have a favorite daughter and I have a favorite son and I have a favorite husband.
Oh, man.
Like, that's my husband.
I never thought about it like that. The boys see you as like.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's not that you're giving off red flags that something is wrong, but he's nurturing and he cares.
Yeah. And
so Katie used to be like, are you happy? Are you okay?
Like, that cracks me over the ass. Like, are you, mommy, do you love me?
Yeah.
Are you happy? I'm like, am I giving off a signal that I'm not? Like.
No, he just cares.
And don't let me say I'm angry because he will cry. He did something at school and I said, mommy is angry. And I mean, that thing lost it. And I was like, and someone told me, be honest with him. If you're angry, say it. Mm-hmm. Don't try to, because, I would be like, no, I'm happy. And I'd be so mad with him because I didn't want him to cry. But they said, if you are angry, let him know. Yeah. So he understands. So I told him the other day, mommy is angry and she's sad. But I could be theatrical with it.
Yeah.
And so
but for him, that's worse than a whooping.
Yes.
Because you're disappointed.
Oh, girl, that's it right there.
And so for me, young mom, young Tiff, I'm giving you a spanking. But with Kaden, the internal thing, disappointment. What?
That
my character?
Oh,
what?
Man.
So you don't need a whooping every time.
Nope.
And Tashara be like, I could never. You would. So you got to deal with that too. So
that's why I be looking at my mom and daddy like, I'm trying to understand like I told Grayson in front of them once, I was like, no laptop. My dad was like, give that boy his laptop. And I'm like,
who are you?
What have you done with my dad? What?
I couldn't take magazines home.
Like, they like, you want cupcakes for breakfast? Like, what? Oh, we took him to Funland. What? But I mean, I know we talk about our parents. Our parents had a different lifestyle when they were growing up. Yes. So the struggle is different, a little different. Yeah. They're like 3 generations removed from being, children of slaves who just kind of had it hard all their lives.
I ain't think about it like that.
So, I try to tell people our parents had it a little harder because they were raised by people who kind of had it harder.
Yeah.
So.
And they came up in civil rights and all that stuff.
They was really like looking out for them. But now we got a little better. So, I just try to be a little easy on Grayson. I do. But I'll tell him in a heartbeat, mommy is angry. And he'll be like, he would just break down. And I have to turn my face not to laugh because it's funny sometimes. So, yeah.
What helped me transition and keep the transition is I have parenting goals, just like any other area of my life, right? I have parenting goals for them. And we talk about the parenting goals. And so while he has a different parenting goal, then we agree that these are the 2 parenting goals. Keon's parenting goal for them is for them to be comfortable in their own skin.
Okay.
For them to self-love, self-acceptance, because then the world, you won't conform to the world and be what everybody wants you to be.
Absolutely.
You'll be true to self. Mine is I want you to be a good person.
Yes.
I want you to have great character. And it always wasn't that. It was performance driven. I want you to be the best student. If you're going to be the dancer, you're going to be the best dancer. But for me now, in the world that we live in, I want your character to be solid.
Oh, man. Your word is your bond.
Yes.
Yeah. You're so right. Because I look at, his report card. She put on there, his cutting skills aren't great. And first, when I read it, I was like,
right.
You can't cut?
Right.
Or she said his socialization is at 0. And I'm like, Grayson, and I was like.
Say it again, Case.
I was like, Grayson, you can't cut. And then it was my fault, right? Because, y'all, I told him the Christmas cut theory, which is you cut and then you slide.
Okay.
So, how you doing wrapping gifts?
Yeah.
But when I looked at his report card, I was like, got a unsatisfactory in cutting? Grayson. Then I was like, oh my God, this is dumb. I was like, Grayson, move on. We don't care about this. Like,
it's fine motor. And so it's going to progress.
It's like, why
as
am I
he
losing it
continues
over
to
cutting?
cut.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're right.
And so, but we were so raised performance driven.
Because think about the era they grew up in.
Right. Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
They're in the era of integrating schools. So you gotta figure out why you belong there. Mm-hmm. So you gotta
gotta be the best.
But now you're at, I mean, that's dope though. I gotta think about that. Like, you gotta be a decent person in society. I still want him to get B's at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how I feel about if I would see a C.
Well, we saw a D.
I mean, it's not funny, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not
we
laughing
saw
at
a
the
D.
Like, what did you do?
So, I was cool.
Were you cool?
I was screaming in the inside, right? So I said, before I spiral, let's do a couple of things.
Not spiral.
Let's.
Sister, I don't want you to spiral.
Because if it was Tashara, we would have pulled her across the table. What is this?
Oh, my God.
Right? So with Caden, why are we here? Okay. So then I emailed the teacher. Is this a concept issue? Is he not getting the concept? Because if that's it, then we need to do something different, because we can't move on to the next level of math if he doesn't get this. Absolutely. She said it's not. He understands the concept. He's rushing. He's just rushing to get his work done. Okay, cool. Boom. So then I talk to him and I tell him he doesn't get on punishment. He doesn't get any type of whooping or disciplinary. I tell him, is this the best you can do? Mm-hmm. Well, no. Okay. What are we going to do? What's the plan? I'm disappointed. You disappointed in yourself. What's the plan? So the plan was for him to get his grades up however he needs to get his grades up. I'm going to tell you the end and I'm going to circle back. By the time it came to his report card, it was an A.
Oh.
Was it an A or a B? I think it was a B.
Okay.
It was a B. And so every day he did, his multiplication cards. He did what he had to do. So when he got the B, right, there was no reward either. So we're not going to Target. We're not going to Walmart to get a toy. We're not shopping on Amazon, because that intrinsic factor, you better be proud of you. And so I said, what did you learn? And so he said, perseverance. Back to the parenting goal. Right? So for me, now in between, because you know me, in between I asked the teacher, he's working really hard, right? Is there anything else we can do? Extra credit? She said, no, this is it. Okay. Let it go.
Lies.
Let it go.
What's that teacher name?
So
Lies.
then 2 days before, she says, you know what? This 20, because he got a 20. This 20 is bringing him all the way down. Mm-hmm. And so it was an A. He said, she said, if I get rid of this 20, then he'll have an A in the class. I can't do this. I'm going to drop everybody lowest grade.
Oh, so it was you. You are the reason why some of those kids passed. Come on, kids. Y'all better dap up T Fox when you see her, because some of y'all was heading home with a D.
But I'm like, I can't spiral. I can't cuss her out, get mad. I can't, we're not going to reward, or we're not going to. Now, if you said this wasn't this was the best you can do, then we would have to have a different conversation. Right?
I can't imagine the kids said, this was the best that I got.
This is all I got, right? But you knew it wasn't. And so you were able to identify it with help. Okay, I'm rushing. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking my time. I'm not checking my work. Just those things right there made a difference in the grade.
So does he keep up with the same systems that he has now? Because I'm going somewhere with this. Y'all, I read a book called Atomic Habits. It's a great book, right? And so he talks about, like, instead of goals, you got to put systems in place. The only way for a team to be great is not to have a goal to win, because everybody's goal is to win, right?
Right.
The Super Bowl.
Right.
Somebody had to lose, whether or not, the game was fixed. But anyway, you got to put systems in place. So do you find that he still keeps those systems in place to score?
Absolutely. So what I didn't know was he has access to his grade book. He can check, again, online technology. Okay. He can check his grades. And so that was one of the things I had an issue with, because we went out of town and I was like, did he get his missing? Did you let me know his home, what was due? Well, he has access to his grade book. He's 8. What are you talking about? And so she was like, he has access to figure out what he's missing. I have 28 kids that I have to attend to. Yes. So I said, oh, okay. So back to the systems, had to just sidebar that. Back to the systems. So he checks his grades. So he will say, okay, Ma, I got a B, I got an A, I got a, and so that system of checking and rechecking his work, and now he works fast. I'm trying to hurry up and get outside or do the next thing.
As all kids do.
Right. But you got to slow down.
Right.
And so, yeah, so to answer your question, yes, he does keep up with that system.
That's dope.
And so I want to reward him. I do. But
man.
again, we're on the other side with Tashara, who was rewarded, who got, you can't get good grades just for the target.
Head down. I'm a rewarder.
But he's 4, so it's a little different.
Yeah, but I don't want him to get that entitlement is sneaking up slowly but surely.
But how you train behaviors is called behavior modification. How you train it is reward and consequence, but it doesn't have to be the monetary reward.
But I will take it away.
It can be we're gonna watch a movie you want to watch on Netflix, right? It doesn't always have to be
true
monetary. Just spending time with you is a reward. Right, so we got to get creative in that and learn our kids.
Okay, I got to get creative, y'all. That's what
creative.
I do, because I will get in the car. Let's go to Target, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. I hate McDonald's, but anyway, but I will snatch it up, y'all, in a second. You what in school?
There goes our endorsement from McDonald's.
No,
I'm just saying.
Y'all don't. No, I mean, McDowell's, y'all.
McDowell's. Okay, there it goes. But yeah. So tell me, how do you prioritize self-care? Or do you?
I don't. Okay. I battle because I'm with him all the time. And I'm very careful with who I allow him to be with.
Absolutely.
Because so many people's stories are coming up saying, this person did this to me, this person did this to me. Yeah. So I'm a little afraid to let him just be with anybody. So I don't prioritize self-care. And I probably... And I'll say this in a positive way. I need a break. I do need a break because I'm going to just keep it real. Like, I was that person that was just like, what are y'all complaining about? And now I owe every mother, single father in America an apology because I just never thought it was the way it was. Yes. I'm talking waking up. You got to get them breakfast. You got to sometimes bring them with you. You have to pick them up from school now. You have to... have them do something while you're still working. You have to get dinner ready. And I was the type when it was just me, I didn't always, some days was a bowl of cereal for me.
Right, right.
I haven't recovered yet from having them. Like, my house was always spotless because I was only in my room when I got home from work. But now that I have a kid who can tornado a house in 5 minutes flat, I still haven't caught up from when I had him July of 2019. So it's like when I feel like I make 2 steps, I look in another room and I'm back 10 steps. So I don't prioritize. I used to take myself to the spa once a month. I ain't been to the spa, y'all, and to the spa in 4 years. I used to get my hair done. I got a wig on, y'all. I'm rocking wigs.
You cute, though.
Thank you. Thank you. With one pimple on the left. But anyway, I wear wigs now because it's like I can't get to the salon because it's like, I can't get there. I used to buy myself clothes. Now I'm in the children's place all the time. Talk about, you got a 4T or a 5T? Mm-hmm. So I don't. I've been on one date, y'all, since I've had him. Okay. One date. And I mean, he don't know. I was like, thank you, God, this is great. Wait, you're gonna pay? I can get whatever I want. Oh my God, you smell so good. You look good too. I'm sorry. I'm going left. Yeah, man, that was great. It was great. So I don't prioritize. So I would just tell everybody, take care of yourself, because I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. I didn't think postpartum was real. Mm-hmm. I came home, I was mommying. I never slept because I would get up in the middle of the night and touch him because I didn't think he was, My mom came finally 2 weeks later to help me out. She said, you scared me. She said, the baby was in the middle of the night wailing. You never budged. She said, you didn't flinch, nothing. She said, then I came home once. You and him were on the couch. He was on your chest. It looked like he was about to slide off, and you never budged. And I was like, I think I was on the tipping edge of losing it because I didn't sleep. So, I credit my mom. She saved me because if my mom never would have showed up, these women who are out here by themselves, man, what are the resources? Right. Because if my mom never came to show up,
Now, if we gonna be real, like I love my friends, I do, but I was just like, I don't need y'all help.
Right.
I didn't want anybody touching my child.
Right.
I was scared of energy transfer.
Absolutely.
So I would not allow. I had a list at the church. If your name went on that list, you couldn't hold them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just didn't allow people to come in. So prioritizing self-care, no. I will honestly say at this point, I am faking it. Because as far as like, they be like, girl, you look good. Like, because I don't take care of myself like I used to. Like I didn't shower when I had them. Showering was a privilege.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know
it was
this.
either shower, feed. It was
Right.
one task for the day that you could get done. Oh, I know. Keon would come home. You ain't getting a shower? Like, ready to fight. I've been a human buffet all day. And I didn't tell anybody that I hate breastfeeding. Like, that was like the worst for me. And I felt guilty
4
because
weeks.
Everybody
Done.
was like, yes. I
Oh,
was
it
like,
didn't feel
I'm not
natural
doing
to
this
me.
every 2
No.
hours. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I need you to take care of you.
Thank
So
you.
we're
yeah.
gonna create an accountability plan.
Okay,
All right. Yeah, I got it live. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the thing I will say this, and this is to any parent, any mom, they don't stay babies forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you will get time back. Okay, you will get time back.
Man, that was it's like Christmas Day. Those
You
were great
will
words.
get time back, but you got to be creative in your self-care, right? So my self-care may look like, before I go in this house, I'm sitting in this car. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 25 minutes, right? Because I just got to woosah before I go in here and deal with these folks that belong to me, right? COVID was tough for us because everybody was home. I was like, our house ain't big enough, right?
Yeah.
So I would be in the midst of the room, everybody there, and I would color. And I would zone out, and I would color, right?
Yeah, I found that too. Coloring is great.
Yeah. Some days you got to go to work late so you can get to the spa. I do a lot of self-care while he's in school. Now, does that mean I got to come back and double back and work later?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But when I don't, because, we don't have a lot of support here either. So we don't have a lot of babysitters. So I got to be creative. Or what's happening now is, even though, dad is in the home, it's either or. It's hard for us to do date night, hard for us to go anywhere together because we don't have a sitter. They don't say babies forever, right? But you got to get creative if that's taking 45 minutes in the shower, right? Instead of the quick showers and getting out. So we going to create a plan for you.
Absolutely. And I told you step one today, I called some babysitters because I was like, I can rely on friends and stuff, but friends, you can't always rely on friends. So I was like, I'm going to put the extra cost into making sure, now I'm vetting them. They're being fully vetted it.
Absolutely.
But as far as, I told them, you may need to come over while I just take a nap and watch him, and things like that. I've been very afraid. This is me taking the biggest leap of faith I've ever had to take, because even though I didn't bond with him in my stomach, now that he's here, it's like I don't want to let him out of my sight.
Absolutely.
It's hard for me to let him grow up.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. From August through December, I would walk him into his classroom. I just started letting that boy walk into school by himself. And I still stand at the door while he's going down that long hallway with that book bag hanging all the way to the floor. Like, what? Put that book bag up. And I just sit there and look at him. So, I gotta release the rope somewhat, because he's not mine, y'all. The Lord gave him to me.
You're right.
So there's some women in the Bible where they had to release their son back. Mm-hmm. And if God told me today, you gotta let him go in the wilderness and be the animal king, like, you gonna do it?
Right. Right.
I don't know.
And the thing was, my children were such on a priority pedestal for me that God said, put them in the proper place or I will take them.
See, that's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, Lord.
That's what I'm afraid of.
He was like, you are not their God.
Yeah.
And you can't be their God.
And I want to give my husband, I hope my parents don't listen to this, but I want to love
Mom,
on them
hey,
and
Dad.
stuff. Don't, they're not going to do this.
I'm going to send it to them.
Well,
YouTube. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What
well,
were you saying?
my husband come around, I want to be able to release and let my son go and love on my husband and make him the head of the household. I want to.
It starts now, though.
Okay. All right. I got to do better. So I got to make goals.
There's prep work, right, before. Because don't get in it and then marriage be jacked up.
Yeah.
because you didn't prepare for the release.
You ain't been here. It's been me and Grayson. We've been eating grilled cheese sandwiches off the and broccoli and Chick-fil-A.
And then I say to any other, single woman trying to transition into married, what man is going to feel comfortable if he can't have full reign in his house?
Now, that is a great point. And I feel like for me personally, that's what I'm working on. Like, how do I, when I finally meet that person, let go of the independent Casie? Because, I do it all, y'all. I manage the bills. I probably going to try to clean out the gutters in a couple of months. I do it all. So I want to be able to, I mow the yard. I hate to say it, but I do. So I want to be able to release and say, and feel comfortable enough to say, and not question, why you want to take out the trash? Why? Because I feel like that would be me now. Like, why? Like, why you want to watch my, I don't know. I don't want Grayson to see his mom. I think Grayson would want his mom to be happy. So.
Right, absolutely. He is.
You're
He
right.
is.
You're right.
So we're going to work on it. Yeah. we gonna work on it because I've been there. But this was an amazing conversation.
Listen, it's a never-ending conversation.
It is.
And I mean, I think we got to get the conversation started on like co-parenting, get the conversation started on, single parenting.
Right.
And how to, give it your all, but still be enough, fill your cup back up so that you can continue pouring into your kids. So,
yeah.
And I want to say this, every day won't be great.
No.
Some days you're going to punch the air. Some days you're going to punch the pillow. And some days you're going to take the pancake and tear it in half.
Absolutely.
And say, eat it. But, you just got to keep at it.
And we're striving for perfection, right? And it doesn't exist.
No.
So it doesn't mean your house nasty because you have a 4-year-old running around here. You do what you can to keep it moving.
That's hard to convince me of that.
We got to let go. That's part of the release. The other thing is, for some reason in my mind, somewhere somebody told me that you had to clean your whole house on Sunday.
Ooh.
Right? And so Sundays I'll be stressed out, crying, upset. Why can't I do the bathrooms on Monday, the bedrooms on Tuesday,
True that.
the kitchen on Wednesday? I mean, spot clean, but I'm talking about but why I can't do that? So again, we have to do what works for us. By the time we go into bed, we tired. Yes. We falling in the bed, exhausted. We don't have energy for ourselves. Our cup is depleted. We don't know how to get it full. We got to stop. We're moving into survival mode. And so, but again, I blame our culture and community because we don't talk about this.
Nope.
We watch mama, grandmama, and them. We don't see them sit down at Thanksgiving. They cooking and then they cleaning.
Think about that.
When you see her eat, other than taste testing, right? That's who we come from.
Yeah.
It's time to break that.
We're going to break it.
Now, I'm not saying don't cook. But what I am saying.
What she's saying is call Golden Corral, order them 12 rolls.
I'm saying get a chef. I got a chef this Thanksgiving.
You did?
Yes. Okay. I did. Yes.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Gentle life, soft life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm.
Yeah.
I may hire a maid. And you know what? I did when I was pregnant, though, because, I had that disorder where paper, clothes, everything smelled. Everything. And so I was constantly, regurgitating. Finally, I called Molly Maid. Y'all, they the bomb.
Molly Maid is good.
They good now.
Okay. That's what I need to do next.
Yeah.
Look at everybody. Look at production.
I'm sorry.
What I need to do next.
Production has the best poker face ever. Because I don't know if he's saying we can, or I don't know if he's saying
I'm
don't.
surprised he hasn't jumped in. Production, you have anything over there? Any questions before we close out?
No, I was going to say with the maid thing.
Uh-oh.
Are you going to clean the house before the maid gets there?
Is it,
I am.
Are you supposed to clean before they get there?
No.
Some people be so preoccupied with, I don't want my house to look a mess when somebody else comes in.
Oh.
And you might start cleaning up.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Nah,
We might need to be therapists, y'all. We might be on something.
Yeah, that's me. I'm going to just tidy up a little bit.
That's why.
She can do the baseboards and the windows and stuff.
Let it all go.
Yeah, if I'm paying you, do
Because the rates ain't cheap. So if y'all paying, let it go.
that ain't the worst house she's ever seen.
Come, you sing Hoarders.
That's the difference right there between the man and woman dynamic in the house. It's everything has to be this, and I'm like, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
Do men really think like that?
Yes.
Do men really think like that?
What's top priority to you? Not saying that it doesn't matter. It's just that we're not going to stress out about it.
Well, see, I feel like I'm like that. So, like, for me, I can leave the dishes in the sink. I'm okay with that. But society says you crazy and you nasty. So, yeah, I know. I see you're looking at me. I can feel the heat.
No.
On the side of my cheek.
So I used to be horrible with that. And so my thing is, okay, when we got to shower to start washing dishes, right, before, my mistake, before you go to bed, make sure the dishes is washed, okay? Mm-hmm. I go to bed, me and Kaden go to bed at 9 o'clock, right? The dishes ain't washed, so I can't sleep. I'm looking, y'all gonna get the kitchen. Sleep? Oh, no, So then I'm getting up, hollering, fussing, washing the dishes. Well, you said before I go to bed at 2 o'clock. They were 2 night owls. We go to bed at 2 o'clock. We'll get it done. So then I had to say, okay, get it done before 9 o'clock, right? Now I don't care.
Oh, okay.
It's something that I had to let go. And it's not a lot of dishes. It's a couple cups and
just
plates.
A couple.
And then I buy plastic now. So we don't even have to worry and increase my anxiety. And that's what I mean. We just got to pivot, right? I learned that they wash dishes different than I do. Mm-hmm. And that is the dishes washed.
And I wasn't raised like that, though, because my mama is a OCD, neat freak. Yeah. And my late sister-in-law was the same way. And I was just like, y'all drive me up a wall. Like, it's okay if, and it was, I don't know. Here's what I at least want. I at least want the house to be neat. Mm-hmm. But I can deal with laundry being on the floor. I can deal with dishes in the sink. But I at least want it to be some sort of neat to it. And I think before he came, it was just me. So I wasn't in every room. But now it's like, I feel like I still can't catch up. And so I feel like people are judging me. I always feel like people are judging me. But I don't. I just, again, I see on Facebook, never take things personally. So I don't take it personally. So I just, I go, well, then people think that I'm this type of person. But it's all good. Like, it is what it is. But I mean, it is internally, it's internally because like my mom is like that. She's just like, everything is cleaned before. And so it's like, you always want to impress your parents. And I just done gave up. I know they'd be like.
Yeah, but you're neglecting you. So we got to get back to prioritizing. And that's the thing. And so we got to let go of some of those rules that we have. And nobody's judging you, right? Okay. Even though you judged other people. Right?
Listen.
When you were single, didn't have any
children, I was like, what y'all time for?
But nobody's judging you because everybody's trying to fight for the peace.
Yeah, that's all I need.
So you got to do what.
Like, I ain't got to make up the bed. That ain't nothing big to me. Like,
you got to do what works for you. And we got to stop with these rules and these.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just got to get the rules out of my head.
That's it.
We need to do if I can be on season 4, the rules of dating. Like, we gotta talk about the rules of dating.
You come back next week if you want to.
I'm gonna tell y'all really quick something funny. So I went on this date, right? The date I went on, right? Y'all, I had put oil in my hair to try to get it like oiled up. I didn't know that the oil spot had started dripping down my forehead.
Oh, okay.
And
you ain't feel it?
No, I ain't feel it. And so I didn't know till I went to the bathroom. I had an oil spot on the front of my head. And I had like makeup on so you could see the oil on the. And then I have 2 more things that I promise we're going to wrap up. And so then the other thing was I had brushed my teeth before I left. And I had, toothpaste had fallen on the shirt. And the shirt was like gray. And I had kind of smudged it out. And I didn't know when you try to smudge out a toothpaste stain or wet it, it's going to eventually turn white when it dries. So I had this big stain on my shirt. And then I didn't know I was a messy eater because we were in the booth. We were having Mexican.
Okay.
And like I had rice and fajitas and I was like eating because I was hungry, right? Yeah. I was like, and so he was like, can I come over to your side because I want to show you something? And I would look down. I had all this rice in the seat. And I had to like, hold on. And I had to like brush the rice out the seat because he had on khakis. Okay. I just wanted to tell y'all that funny story. Like, those are single mom problems. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, I'm going to try to date more, but I don't think Grace is going to have that. But, okay.
Okay. Well, this your you time. He don't got to know.
I said 2024 is the year of being different. So, yeah. It's good, though. I just had to get that story out to somebody.
I love that. But you enjoyed the date overall.
Oh, man. I enjoyed the date. Like, we're not an item, but I enjoyed the date. I enjoyed somebody saying, I want to take you out. And I was like, yeah, heck yeah. You paying? Where we eating now?
Okay.
And so, but I had to drive all the way to like Raleigh. I was like, wait.
Oh, wow.
You should come to me. But
or meet halfway.
Yeah. Well, it was Mebane. Mebane was too far.
Oh.
That was 30 miles out
Too
of
far
drive.
for who? Oh, you?
Yeah.
He's from Raleigh?
He live in Raleigh.
Oh, okay.
But we met in Mebane. Like,
Oh.
that was like absurd.
You just wanted him to be in Greensboro.
I like, you come to me. That's why I say it's a different. Dating as a single mom is another one.
Yeah.
Because I want to go on, you know. Yeah. I don't want to say that on the camera, but yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say something.
Well, we'll talk off camera.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. How can we follow you, keep in contact with you, check in the podcast? How can we?
So listen, here's the thing, right? So, and I'm sorry, I don't want to mess up y'all podcast. I want y'all to be famous. Taylor Swift should not be the reason why women follow football. Okay? I'm looking in the camera now. She should not be the reason. Even if it ain't looking at me. I just probably look.
There's our sponsorship from Taylor.
No, go. That's why I said I'm sorry. But I want women to watch football. And so I want as many women and men who respect what I say, because a lot of men don't respect what I say, to follow my Back to You, Bob 90-second sports show. So you can go to moonnerdsmedia.com and you can find the show. Or you can even go to YouTube, type in Moon Nerds Media LLC, and that's where you'll find Back to You, Bob. Or I have an Instagram account, Back to You, Bob Sports Media. It's all one word. So I just really want to help women get into sports, especially football. I want women to tear down this wall that's in the NFL. And we need to be in the front office. We need to be on the sidelines. We don't need to just be your cheerleader, or we don't need to be your, what do you call them? The sports therapist that get you back medicine. In shape.
Okay, the physical therapist.
We need to be your defensive coordinators, your offensive coordinators. We need to be your GMs. We need to be your, whatever it takes. The owners. Look at the Detroit Lions. I think the female face represents that team. But anywho, so just follow me, because you're going to see an interesting spin on my take on sports. And, my thing now is just to rock the fedoras. But we need to break down this barrier, and I want to be the one. I don't want it to be because a football player is dating a singer. I want it to be because you genuinely have an interest in. I want to see an all-female sports show.
That'd be dope.
And, I'm trying to be careful with my words, but we don't all have to look like supermodels. We can come in all fashions and it be a dope show. Like, it doesn't have to be, you have to have that face, the model face, and then all these manly men, or vice versa. These women who, may have a more masculine appearance. We can diversify this portfolio and make it the bomb. So, yeah. Back to you, Bob. That's what I want y'all to concentrate on.
Okay.
The magazine, you can go to moonnerdsmedia.com and you can see the magazines there. But come on, women, let's boost up sports and get in there. So,
how do we follow you on social media? So
you can follow me at People, People, Publicist without the T. So PUBLICIS on Instagram. And then Facebook is Casie People's Publicist Williams on Facebook. Back to You, Bob Sports Media. TikTok, Sports Queen CW. But I don't be on TikTok. I post my content on TikTok, but I'm rarely on TikTok to TikTok. So that's where y'all can follow me. And I mean, I'm, some days I might tell a joke. Some days I might put a book up that me and Grayson read. I don't know. It just depends on how I'm feeling.
And then last question, you are accepting gentlemen callers. So if they comment on the
absolutely.
Podcast platforms. Okay, I just want to make sure. Because
and I'm gonna just quickly say, you gotta accept me as I am. Like, I know y'all heard me say, I leave dishes in the sink. If that's gonna freak you out, then I'm not the person for you. Because my car is even worse. So, you gotta take me as I am. I'm funny. I'm a great mom. I can't cook. I don't have a desire to learn. So please don't force me into that. But I do great with laundry. Like, I haven't changed the colors of the clothes yet.
Yes.
So
laundry.
Gentlemen, come holler at me.
Laundry. Well, I enjoyed this show. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Season 2.
Do
what it do.
We got to come back for that dating conversation. We need a couple ladies for that.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun.
That's going to be good, right? Absolutely. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Unangry Black Woman podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and consider subscribing, rating, and leaving your review on our favorite or on your favorite podcast platform. Again, your feedback helps us grow. Remember, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Follow us at Tiffany Fox Inc. on Instagram or Tiffany Fox Inc. on Facebook, and suggest some topics that you would like to hear in the future. Join us every Wednesday at noon for a new episode. Welcome again to season 2. Until then, remember, healing happens in community, and thank you again for being a part of our podcast community. Until next time, be great.